Welcome to Ken's Corner Podcast, Season 2. It's time. Are you ready? Now here we go with your host, Ken Judge.
Hi, everyone. This is Ken from Ken's Corner, and today I am very honored to be on with Cody Brown, who's a professional wrestler all the way from Windsor, Nova Scotia. How you doing today, Cody?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Tell us a little bit about your hometown of Windsor and how you became where the passion for wrestling came from.
Well, Windsor, Nova Scotia is a little town, 45 minutes outside of Halifax that really doesn't have much in it. We got 3 Tim Hortons and no Walmart. But as for the love for pro wrestling, I'm pretty sure one of my first memories of ever is watching wrestling. I don't know, I've been watching wrestling since before I could walk, and now somehow I'm a wrestler today.
Yeah, you started when you were 17 years old, for when I've read up on you. And what I'd like to know is, who was your original trainer?
Who was my original trainer? My original trainer was a guy named Devin Chittick, who wrestled as X-Ray Kyle Cruz. And when I was about 8, 9, 10 years old, he had a wrestling show in Windsor. And originally I walked up to at the show, I went up to the ring announcer because he was in a suit, so I thought I owned it. I was like, "Are you the owner of this promotion or whatever?" And he's like, "No, that's that guy over there." And he pointed to Devin. So 8 years old, I went up to Devin and I was like, "You're gonna teach me how to be a pro wrestler one day." And at the time he was like, yeah, sure, kid, whatever. Funny enough, 10 years later, it was Devin Chittick's wrestling school that I found on Kijiji when I went looking for wrestling school. So when I was 8 years old, I told him, I was like, "You're going to teach me how to be a pro wrestler when I grow up." And he ended up actually doing that 10 years later.
That's great. That's great news. I like hearing stories like that. Now, I do believe you go by a name, Lil Bly. Is that how I pronounce it? Am I saying it right? Little Blay. Can you tell me where that originated? Sorry, I mispronounced that, sir.
Oh, God, most people can't pronounce it anyway. So I used to wrestle as a young blood Cody Blade, and when we would travel to shows and stuff, there was 2 guys that kind of got me to go into the direction of Little Blade. First one was Rex Atkins. We were doing a winter tour, and I got a particular taste of rap music that not everybody enjoys. So I'd always get I was like, put on some Snack the Ripper, or put on some Mercules, and
love them.
Then,
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say.
Right. I remember Rex was the first one. He's like, "Oh, bro, this should just be your gimmick. This is so you." And I was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to do a rapping gimmick. There's so many of those." And then the next time I was traveling with Marcus Burke to probably Quebec or something, and Burke was like, "Man, why don't we make this your gimmick?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." He's like, "No, think about it, man. You could if you really dove into it, really committed it, you could really do it." I was like, "All right, bro, but if we do it, we got to go all the way with it. We're like, let's imitate these SoundCloud rappers that everybody hates, like 6ix9ine, Little Pump, and Little Xan, and every little rapper there is. They got this pink hair." And I was like, "All right, so if we're gonna do it, we gotta dye my hair, we gotta get a set of grills, we gotta get these face tattoos, we gotta get a new set of gear, we gotta come up with a new entrance music." And so I was like, "All right, well, let's try it and see what happens." So Little Blade came off of I'd spell Cody Blade with a Y. So we just took off the D, and it was the Cody Blade, it was Little Blade. And
I love it.
So Marcus Burke and Rex Atkins are to thank for that.
I love it. That's great story as well. Now, this is off of the questions that I actually had for you today, but I know you've wrestled all over Canada. Is there one particular memory or one city that you really enjoy wrestling out of that you can share with us today?
I do love a lot. There's a few cities that like are a couple of my favorites. Probably Cornwall, Ontario, out of with Seaway Valley, Lethbridge, Alberta, for PPW, and people would hate me if I left out Moncton, New Brunswick for North Pro Wrestling.
That's great. Thank you. I actually do know the Seaway Wrestling out in Cornwall. Elaine, the commish, is quite the man, and I hope to have him here on Ken's Corner one day soon.
Alan,
that's right. I should be saying his name right. Thank you again for correcting me. Alan the
right.
commish it is.
Someone was talking to me the other day. They're like, yeah, Aline, she messaged me for Seaway, and I was like, Aline, she's like, Aline. I was like, that's a dude, and his name's Alan.
He just spells it with an I.
Or maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
One of us are. I'm going to take your word for it since you know him personally. My next question for you, Cody. I know you're wrestling. I mean, you're training in Mexico City these days, or have been. Can you talk to us about the Bandito gym?
Well, right now I'm actually in Orlando, Florida, but wow. Yeah, Bandito's gym, big represent right here. Yeah, that place is like Lucha Libre University. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when we first went down to Mexico, we were just trying to feel it out, see what was out there. We didn't have a clue, couldn't really speak Spanish, but there was an original 8 of us that went there. And we were going and we were checking out, watching different shows. We like seen Azteca Budokan and the Calpan and CMLL and like all kinds of different places, Cocalco. But when we went to a big lucha show, I was like, what is this? Like, just the venue is super cool because they got the ring in the school where you live, and the events happen like at the dojo. And I remember, I think it was Elemental versus Cyclone Ramirez Jr. And they had, bro, it was crazy. It was crazy. Buddy was jumping off balconies. They're like, I was just like, this place is gonna blow up. Like, how does like these are the best shows in Mexico, hands down. And then like slowly they just grew and grew. So I was like, I need to be a part of this gym, like no matter what. And I was like, now my goal is to be on a big lucha show. So I remember where we were living, there was like troubles with the living situation. So it like kind of pushed us to get out of there. And I was like, well, where are we gonna go if we leave here? Like, so we went to we went to the big lucha gym a lot, and I realized you can sleep there. There's rooms in the dojo. Like downstairs is like the gym, and then in the corner is the ring with the ball pit where you can practice dives. But on the other side, like upstairs, they got rooms you can sleep in. They got like 15 rooms. And then once I realized that we could live there, and I was like, yep, we're moving in here immediately. So then, yeah, we lived in the dojo from about December to June, I guess. And yeah, man, like that's just a little slice of like wrestling heaven, honestly. They got classes from like 8 a.m. in the morning to like 9-10 p.m. at night, just running all day long. And the gym is right there all day. And then downstairs they got the supplement shop, and they got a barber shop, and they got a restaurant, and like and then all the teachers there that you get to learn from. Like you get to learn from Bandito and Flamita and Skyday. Like Skyday's like the grandfather of like Lucha Libre technical wrestling. And that guy's like 50 years old running 3 classes a day. And just all the like the knowledge that pours out of this dude when you're in training. And then not to mention all the like the guest coaches that come in like once a month. Like we were training with Kalisto and Hidikaru and the Phoenix. Gringo Loco came down there for a seminar. Just the place to be.
Awesome. Do you consider yourself a high flyer? Is that why another reason that you're taking up lucha?
I guess so. I don't know. I like to be a little bit of everything. I like the high flying. But I used to do amateur wrestling, so I also like the technical. And then with the little blade, you got the comedy. And then like, I don't know, I love hardcore. I don't really do much of it. People don't know that, but I like to be a little bit mixture of everything. But I'm not super big, I'm not super strong. So when I started out, I wasn't like lifting people. So I had to like set my arsenal, I suppose, to
Makes sense.
be able to have an offense without like having to pick people up all the time. So it just, I was drawn to it more. And plus, I just like love Lucha Libre when they do a maneuver, and I'm like, holy crud, how did they do that? I want to be doing stuff where people are like, how did he do that?
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's always an awe moment when you see something like that. Okay, I'm not going to keep you all day, but I do have to talk about your upcoming Wrestling Academy show 2023 with Jacques Rougeau and QT Marshall. I don't know why I keep saying that. I'm a Leaf fan up here in Toronto, so I always thinking of JT Tavares, John Tavares, right? JT. But anyway, his name is QT Marshall and Jacques Rougeau's Wrestling Academy 2023. When are you wrestling? And tell me how you decided to join.
So I got my match is 2 days after my birthday on June 4th. And the reason I got into it is because my like best friend, old roommate, Dylan Davis, won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember contacting QT when the first round came through. But when he started it, I was already like living at the gym. So I was pretty happy where I was. And I asked him, and I was like, so it's a wrestling academy. I was like, is this a school? Are we living there? Are we doing shows? Like, what's the deal? And at the time, he didn't know what the deal was. He was just kind of getting it off the ground. He's like, we're going to find out more as we go. And I'm like, at the time I was like, hey, I'm going to need more than that, bro. I'm in Mexico, so once you figure it out, I'll, get into it. And then, so I was like, and then once Dynamite texted me, and he's like, yo, bro, I just won. And I was like, get out of here. He's like, yeah, man, they just put a check in my hand. And I was like, all right, this is legit then. If Dynamite just won it, I was like, this is legit. So that's why I got into it. It's basically because Dyna won.
And they doubled it this year. So you're going to be taking home the 10,000 and the 3-month stop at the Nightmare Factory, which I think any wrestler would want to win that, I believe.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. The hope is to move down to Mexico, and 10 grand can go a long way in Mexican pesos.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the winner's circle, Mr. Brown.
Thank you. Yes, there's a handful of tough competitors in there that like I believe have a good chance of winning. I mean, you got the Giant Orion, you got Sean Moore, you got Jesse Bieber, you got Bobby Sharp, you got MRB, so
Magna McLaren. Young man Magna McLaren. But yeah, I like I said, I've scouted you, and I have high hopes for Cody Brown taking home the winning circle in that on that day, having your name called. I really hope that comes to fruition, sir. Thank you so much. It's been an honor for you to be on here today in your busy schedule. And my name's Ken. I'm from Ken's Corner, and today I've been on with professional wrestler Cody Brown. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, and don't forget, do the damn dance.
Thank you.